Cold iron pressed against the temple of the hours, a splintered mirror reflecting Meridian of our dissolution. There is a precise degree of tilt where the earth stops spinning, and that is exactly where we parked the vehicle. Not a word exchanged in 3 hemispheres. The upholstery smells of burned rubber and antiquity. I am counting the rivets on the dashboard. 712, a futile inventory of a life discarded in the glove compartment. You stare at the horizon as if it owes you a debt. Your fingers tracing invisible latitude lines on the glass. The silence here is physical, a weight that bends the light until everything turns into charcoal. Watch is stopped, an elegant betrayal of the consensus reality. We are drifting through the quadrant of abandoned intentions. I recall the color of the sky before the blackout, violent bruised ochre that suggested we were never meant to survive the meridian. My pockets are filled with heavy stones, tokens of the places we failed to inhabit. Each stone has a temperature, a specific vibration of regret. You ask if I regret the detour, but the language I speak has no vocabulary for repentance. Only the guttural mechanics of survival. The gears shift with the sound of grinding teeth. We are passing the monument of broken promises, a jagged monolith rising from the salt flats. No tourist here, only the scavengers of wasted time. You offer me a cigarette, the filter stained with an ink that doesn't exist anymore. It is an artifact of a civilization that ended when we looked away from each other. I accept the combustion, the smoke curling into the shape of our common expiration. This is the geometry of absence, 2 points failing to intersect in a vacuum. Pressure builds in the cabin, an atmospheric protest against our continued existence. The engine screams a high-pitched lament, a mechanical requiem for the miles we didn't drive. Gravity is a suggestion I choose to ignore as we accelerate into the monochromatic blur. There is no destination, only the velocity of the vanishing point. The glass begins to weep, not with moisture, but with the condensation of every unspoken ultimatum. We are absolute, we are infinitesimal, we are the residue of a collision that happened in another dimension. Riding the gravel, dust choking the engine, but the peak of the fever was that hollow tavern, drinking sour mash until the copper sun melted. We had lethal venom under twilight clouds. Didn't catch a whisper, you were dealing marked cards. Could have been the whiskey, I handed you the keys to my kingdom. Must have been your grin. We were dealing and folding all dusk chips and tokens laid on the wood. You didn't even flinch, I wagered every silver coin I owned. It's not normally how I gamble, but the liquor made me bold. I was trapped in the bluff, we were crossing the absolute border. I've never crossed a drifter like Silas. Now I'm choking, crawling through the sand. I was paralyzed, staring at your hands. Deep canyon lines where my ruin was planned. Those boots were heavy, I sensed it was a trap. To bet my survival on a fabricated map. Just a slight smirk, that was all it cost. Now I'm entirely, utterly, fundamentally lost. I staggered outside, I was stranded in the dirt. Empty saddlebag, barren as the desert earth. We kept on negotiating over the wooden table. Felt like perhaps your promise was stable. Silence, oh silence, how was I so blind? Buried motives hidden in your clever mind. Oh silence, reality struck like a whip. You were never gonna share a drop from your cup. Oh silence, I'm collapsing in the heat. You always aiming for my total defeat. I'm screaming your title at the circling crows, trusting a gambler who only deals in sorrows. I checked so many ledgers, how didn't I notice? Every single page showed the deficit to me. In every ledger you were stealing the gold. Quiet little numbers in a story so old. I won't spin fables, I was so foolish. You were always packing, preparing to flee, always watching the horizon line. I dismissed every warning in your calculating spine. Oh silence, how was I so blind? Trapped in a mirage I refuse to leave behind. Oh silence, venom beneath your tongue. You were never gonna ride when the bell was rung. Oh silence, you yelled my title, but it wasn't Jane. My title wasn't Jane. That's not my title. But the fever that I carry doesn't match your eyes. It wasn't Jane. I'm carrying a burden that you'll never shoulder. Two separate paths growing endlessly colder. Ashes to ashes, ashes to ashes for the thief that rode away. I mock the bruises, but they will permanently stay. You were entirely you were always that breed. I'm smuggling the curse, you can still mount my steed. You take what you take, that's how your gears grind. I'm the victim who gambled completely blind. I pour out a bottle to the deserts you roam, trying to wash away this broken home. No Jane, no Jane, no Jane, no Jane, no Jane, no Jane. You're Jane, you're never gonna cross this trail. So tragic, Jane. You're crack. Oh Silas, I'm crushed by the weight. You were never supposed to control my fate. Oh Silas, this mind's in a drought, grieving for the victory swallowed by doubt. Oh Silas, I'm learning to crawl. You can count your silver while I survive the fall. Ashes to ashes for the drought and the cost, for the fortune I surrendered, for the drifter I lost. Ashes to ashes for the fools we bury, for the Silas we banish, for the James we carry. I'm howling your titles in this barren breeze, whispering farewell so my soul can freeze. You and me, we used to be together every day, together always. I really feel that I am losing my best friend. I can't believe this could be the end. It looks as though you are letting go, and if it's real, well, I don't want to know. Don't speak, I know just what you're saying, so please stop explaining. Don't tell me 'cause it hurts. Don't speak, I know what you are thinking. I don't need your reasons. Don't tell me 'cause it hurts. All my memories, they are slipping away. I am sitting in the dark, watching the door, staring at your shadow on the floor. The room is completely freezing cold. The promises we made are getting much too old. The silence is screaming in my ear, confirming every single thing I used to fear. I poured my love into a bottomless well. Now I am locked inside this lonely little cell. I see your lips moving, but I close my eyes. I'm absolutely terrified of your heavy sighs. We used to burn like a massive flame. Now we do not even recognize each other's name. The street lamp is dying in the rain, just like the beating of my heavy pain. I trace my regrets on the freezing glass, watching my entire life so slowly pass. I breathe in the smoke of the bitter night, losing the very last fragment of the light. Oh silence, why do you scream so loud, drowning me beneath this lonely cloud? Oh memory, there's a stone leaving me here completely alone. Oh shadow, I am freezing outside. You were the only place where I could hide. I'm crying out loud in the pouring rain, begging you to never speak the pain. I saw the hesitation hiding in your stare. The ghost of our love is hanging in the air. Every moment that we used to share is vanishing like it was never there. I cannot turn back time. I was so blind, leaving the best parts of me way behind. The clock is ticking on the empty wall, waiting for the heavy sky to finally fall. The mirror shows a girl who lost her way, begging for a walking away from the heavy wall. I smile at the pain, but it will not fade away. You are a chapter of my yesterday. I'm learning to let you go and still survive. You chose what you chose. That is the way the story ends. I am the one who hopelessly depends. I raise my head to the stormy sky, swallowing down my final goodbye. The dawn's breaking through the heavy clouds, pushing through the remaining midnight crowds. I take a breath of the freezing morning air. Cataloging the debris of a Tuesday that refused to arrive. In the corner of the room, a rusted clock ticks in prime numbers, marking the interval between breath and collapse. The wallpaper is peeling, revealing a layer of structural secrets, maps of cities that burn down in our dreams. You are sitting by the window, dissecting the light into jagged prisms. I try to recount the inventory of our possessions: 3 broken compasses, a bottle of fermented ink, and the smell of scorched ozone on your collar. We are holding on to the perimeter of an imploding star. It is a slow, methodical erasure of everything we deemed essential. Beyond the threshold, the landscape is a mathematical impossibility. A forest of copper wires twisted into the shape of weeping willows. You claim the north is a fabrication, a comforting lie we tell ourselves to avoid the vertigo. I am drawing the cartography of our errors on the floorboards with a piece of charred wood. Every line represents a misinterpretation, every crossroad a deliberate choice to remain lost. The humidity is rising, saturated with the metallic tang of unmade decisions. We are drifting through the quadrant of abandoned possibilities, where the gravity of your gaze pulls the furniture toward the center of the room. The radiator hums in a discordant monarchy, a mechanical requiem for the winter that never yielded. We are trapped in the syntax of a broken sentence, unable to reach the final period. You dismantle the radio, searching for a broadcast that stopped transmitting in 1954. The static is a symphony of missed connections. I watch the copper wires spark against the cold linoleum, a brief violent illumination of our shared isolation. There is no warmth in the circuitry, only the cold, logical pursuit of an ending that refuses to materialize. We are the residue of a collision that happened in a parallel frequency. The walls are sweating, a condensation of every ultimatum we discarded. I feel the architecture of the house shifting, rotating on an axis of pure, unadulterated apathy. Of the last league of the void is increasing. We are no longer inhabitants, but observers of our own disassembly outside. The sky is taking on the color of a bruised lung, expanding and contracting with every pulse of a dying grid. I am reaching for a handle that no longer exists, grounding myself in the irony of your silence. The collapse is not a tragedy, it is an optimization of space, a necessary clearing of the floorboards. Kinetic energy remains in the friction of our proximity. You look toward the door, not expecting an exit, but acknowledging the futility of containment. The clock has ceased its prime numbered counting. We are suspended in the center of an equilibrium that demands nothing and provides even less. I close my eyes and listen to the architecture of the void. It is a sound like glass grinding against glass, a sharp crystalline finality that resolves the tension of our existence. There is no destination, only the infinite expansion of the 0-point field. Walking the rails, rust staining the leather, but the peak of the fever was that decaying station, waiting in the mud until the iron beast wailed. We had lethal momentum under storm clouds. Didn't hear a whisper, you were uncoupling the cars. Could have been the bourbon I handed you, the ledger of my sins. It must have been your vow. We were loading and hauling all dusk, silver and secrets locked in the vault. You didn't even flinch, I trusted every hollow word you swore. That's not normally how I travel, but the thunder made me blind. I was trapped in the smoke, we were crossing the absolute border. I've never trusted a hound like Vance. Now I'm choking, crawling through the swamp. I was paralyzed, staring at the tracks. Deep muddy trenches where my ruin was sealed. Those wheels were heavy, I sensed it was a trap. To bet my survival on a runaway carriage, just a slight nod, that was all it cost. Now I'm entirely, utterly, fundamentally lost. I staggered outside, I was stranded in the rain. Empty platform, barren as the rusted chain. We kept on negotiating over the wooden crate. Felt like perhaps your promise was stray. Oh, Vance, how did I not perceive? Muted admissions burying your grand deceit. Oh, Vance, reality bit like a hound. You were never gonna anchor me safe on the ground. So many tickets, how didn't I notice? Every single stamp showed the destination to me. In every carriage you were hiding the loot. Quiet little numbers in a story so cold. I won't spin fables, I was so foolish. You were always packing, preparing to flee. Always watching the locomotive line. I dismissed every warning in your calculating spine. Oh, Vance, how did I not perceive? Trapped in a carriage I refuse to leave. gonna curse you and still plant my seed. You take what you take, that's how your gears grind. I'm the victim who traveled completely blind. I pour out a bottle to the swamp you roam, trying to wash away this broken home. No rose, no rose, no rose. No rose, no rose, no rose. No rose, you're never gonna cross this rail. So tragic, rose, you never cross this rail. So tragic, rose, you're buried in the gale. Buried, 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 rose, you're buried in the gale. You're buried in the gale. Buried, 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 you're buried in the gale. Vance, oh Vance, I'm turning my back, weeping for the silver that I'll never track. Oh Vance, I'm crushed by the weight. You were never supposed to control my fate. Oh Vance, this mind's in a drought, grieving for a victory swallowed by doubt. Oh Vance, I'm learning to crawl. You can count your silver while I survive the fall. Iron to iron, for the drought and the cost. For the silver I surrendered, for the drifter I lost. Iron to iron, for the fools we bury, for the fans we banish, for the roses we carry. I'm howling your titles in this bitter breeze, whispering farewell so my soul can free. The mercury spilled across the atlas at exactly 12:14. And listen to the architecture of the void. It is a sound like glass grinding against glass, a sharp crystalline finality that resolves the tension of our existence. The architecture of this room is failing, the plaster cracking in patterns that mimic the nervous system of an extinct predator. Every rivet on the dashboard is a monument to a mile we didn't drive, and I have counted 712 of them, an inventory of the inanimate. You are watching the horizon with the detachment of a cartographer who knows the maps are lies. There is a precise degree of tilt where the earth stops spinning, and we have parked the vehicle exactly there on the meridian of our dissolution. The upholstery reeks of antiquity, of burnt rubber, and the synthetic scent of a promise that never possessed a chemical signature. I'm tracing latitude lines on the window, though the glass is already opaque with the condensation of every ultimatum we were too cowardly to articulate. The silence here is not merely an absence of sound, it is a physical weight, a dense atmospheric pressure that bends the light until everything in the cabin turns into charcoal, into the charred remnant of a future we never authorized. The wristwatch on your left wrist stopped at the exact moment the transmission cut out, an elegant portrayal of the consensus reality. We are drifting through a quadrant of abandoned intentions, where the stars are just pinpricks in a velvet shroud. My pockets are saturated with stones, each one carrying the temperature of a specific failure, a vibration of regret that resonates with the humming of the tires. You ask if I regret the detour, but the language I speak, this guttural mechanical dialect, has no vocabulary. vacuum we are creating between us. The radiator is humming in a discordant minor key, a mechanical requiem for the winter that never yielded. We are trapped in the grammar of a broken sentence, unable to reach the final period that would grant us release. You are dismantling the radio, pulling out the circuit boards in search of a broadcast that ceased transmitting in 1954. And the static is a symphony of misconnections, a cacophony of white noise that tastes like copper on the tongue. I watch the copper wire spark against the cold, clinical linoleum, a brief, violent illumination of our shared isolation. There is no warmth in the circuitry, only the cold, logical pursuit of an ending that refuses to materialize. We are the residue of a collision that occurred in the frequency we cannot tune into, a spectral superposition of love and apathy. The walls are sweating a condensation of every ultimatum we discarded in the gutters of our transit. I feel the house shifting, rotating on an axis of pure, unadulterated apathy. The velocity of the void is increasing exponentially. We are no longer inhabitants of our lives, we are merely observers of our own disassembly. Outside, the sky is taking on the color of a bruised lung, expanding and contracting with every pulse of the dying grid. I am reaching for a handle that no longer exists, grounding myself in the irony of your science. Your collapse is not a tragedy, it is an optimization of space, a necessary clearing of the floorboards for the inevitable emptiness that awaits the final oscillation. We are reaching the threshold of absolute zero, where no kinetic energy remains in the friction of our proximity. We are suspended in the center of an equilibrium that demands nothing and provides even as I close my eyes and listen to the architecture of the void. It is a sound like glass grinding against glass, a sharp crystalline finality that resolves the tension of our existence. There is no destination, only the infinite expansion of the 0-point field. Every atom of our history is being rearranged into a configuration of total indifference. We have achieved the final state of matter, pure, unadulterated stillness. The atlas is blank, the mercury has dried, and the both is simply the absence of a destination. We are finally, definitively, nothing at all. We danced under the chandelier just like old times, but the peak of the joy was that velvet night in Paris, watching the fountains kiss the starlight. We had electric devotion under golden awnings. Didn't feel the distance, you were planning your departure. Could have been the vintage, I gave you the brightest parts of me. It must have been your smile. We were swaying and dreaming all dusk, ribbons and promises locked in the ballroom. You didn't even hesitate, I memorized every gentle breath you stole. That's not normally how I love, but the rhythm made me soar. I was lost in the glow, we were chasing the absolute sunrise. I've never cherished a heart like Julian. Now I'm drifting, reaching for your hand. I was mesmerized, staring at the night, soft and remember shadows where our future was planned. Those eyes were steady. I sensed it was a dream to link my destiny on a bittersweet melody. Just a lingering glance, that was all it cost. Now I'm entirely, utterly, beautifully lost. I woke up early, I was wrapped in your warmth. Morning sunlight clear as a crystal dawn. We kept on whispering over the morning tea. Felt like maybe you were finally free. Oh Julian, how did I not see silent desires you were saving for me? Oh Julian, passion felt like a prayer. You were never gonna leave your life in the air. Oh Julian, I'm dancing inside. You were always meant for the beautiful ride. I'm whispering your title at the golden dawn, loving a dream that will surely be gone. I checked so many postcards, how didn't I notice? Every single stamp showed the passion to me. In every letter you were painting the truth, quiet little secrets of a long lost youth. I won't spin fables, I was so enamored. You were always planning, preparing to fly, always watching the horizon line. I ignored every sign in your magnificent shine. Oh Julian, how did I not see? Trapped in a ballroom, I refused to leave. Oh Julian, velvet beneath your touch. You were never gonna give me quite enough. Oh Julian, you whispered my name, but it wasn't clear. My name wasn't clear. That's not my name. But the devotion that I carry doesn't match your sky. It wasn't clear. I'm holding a treasure that you'll never share. Two different worlds dancing in the very same air. Champagne to champagne, champagne to champagne. For the love that flew away, I toast to the beauty, but the tears will permanently stay. You were entirely you were always that light. I'm learning to adore you, still finish the night. You take what you take, that's how the heart swings. I'm the dream who followed your beautiful wings. I raise up a glass to the terrace you roam, trying to keep our little spark as a home. No Claire, you're never gonna play this waltz. So lovely Claire, you never play this waltz. So lovely Claire, you're dancing in the haze. Dancing Claire. You're dancing in the haze. Dancing. You're dancing in the haze. Oh Julian, I'm letting you go. Smiling for the romance that I'll never know. Oh Julian, bright at the seam. You were never meant to wake from my dream. Oh Julian, this heart's in a glow, grieving for a future that won't ever grow. Oh Julian, I'm learning to see you can follow your truth while I set mine free. Champagne to champagne, for the dawn and the cost, for the romance I surrendered, for the angel I lost. Champagne to champagne, for the dreams we bury, for the Julians we love, for the Claires we carry. I'm singing your titles in this morning breeze, whispering farewell so my heart can find peace. Damian. Oh, Damian, oh, Damian. We met in the haze, trapped inside a maze. But the best of it all was the way you caught my gaze. Drinking heavy rum until the sky began to blaze. We had real magic under street lights. Didn't have a clue you were crossing lines. Could have been the temple. I gave you the very anchor of me. Must have been the signs. We were swaying and shifting all night. Secrets and lies intertwined. You didn't even put up a fight. I left my logic behind. It's not really the things I do, but the shadow made me move. I was lost in the madness. We were breaking all the truths. I've never met a soul like Damian. Now I'm drowning under your spell. I was paralyzed, staring into your eyes. Deep midnight oceans where my logic dies. Those hands were heavy, I knew I wasn't ready to give you my heart on a slow dance melody. Just a lingering look, that was all it took. Now I'm really, truly, fatally hooked. I woke up cold, I was all on my own. Right side of the bed, heavy as stone. We kept on talking on the midnight line. Felt like maybe you were almost mine. Oh, Damian, how did I not see? Silent deceptions you never meant for me. Oh, Damian, truth cut like a blade. You were never gonna step out of the shade. Oh, Damian, I'm shattering inside. You were always meant for the darker side. I'm calling your name in the hollow of the night. Love than a man who could never hold me right. I saw so many messages, how didn't I read? Every single word told me what you need, and every letter you were written in red. A lonely little secret inside of your head. I can't tell you no lies. I was so blind, you were always in shadows, leaving me behind. Always surrounded by your quiet grace. I ignored every sign in your beautiful face. Oh, Damian, how did I not know? Living in a dream, I refuse to let go. Oh, Damian, truth under your skin. You were never gonna let a woman in. Oh, Damian, you called out my name, but it wasn't Grace. My name wasn't Grace. That's not my name. But the love that I feel doesn't match your face. It wasn't Grace. I'm holding the heart that you'll never embrace. Two different worlds in the very same space. Rest in peace. Rest in peace for the one that couldn't stay. I laugh with the scars, but they won't go away. You were really you were always that way. I'm learning to love you and still walk away. You crave what you crave, that's the way you're made. I'm the one who painted in the wrong shade. I raise up a glass to the life you live, trying to forgive what you couldn't give. No grace, 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 no grace. You're never gonna hear this song for the love that I lost, for the ghost you became. Rest in peace for the ones we mourn, for the Damians we free, for the graces never born. I'm singing your names in this aching song, saying goodbye so I